You know, there are two types of people. People who hate Channel Awesome with every fibre of their being, and anything they can do is Satan incarnate. And then there's other people who love Channel Awesome, and they just praise absolutely everything they do. But then there's me, who's a casual viewer of Channel Awesome, but also holds no allegiance to change the channel whatsoever, so I feel like I can give an impartial take and just say whatever the fuck I want about these films. Hey! Believe it or not, kids, there once was a time when YouTube didn't actually rule the entire universe. Back when not many people made content and you were seen to be an alien if you made YouTube videos. Now every other person and their dog makes them. But back then, there were two men in particular who really set the standards. James Rolfe created a character online known as the Angry Video Game Nerd. A man obsessed with the past, revisiting the old games that drove him insane as a kid, and of course he was a big hit. This was before the gaming channels of today, so really James Rolfe completely revolutionised the gaming world online. And likewise, so did his movie counterpart. Played by Doug Walker, we got the Nostalgia Critic. A man revisiting movies from his past which weren't as good as we all remember. Much like the nerd, he was a big hit. People loving his energy and rage, as well as his wit and carefree humour.
What's up, my niggas?
Most of the time.
Wow.
The two would often meet up, creating a fake feud, and it was a really big deal. It was Doug who blew up the movie reviewing scene on the internet, but he got so popular that he was booted off of YouTube multiple times, so he went and made his own company, originally named That Guy With The Glasses, also producing other content like 5-second movies, Ask That Guy, Chester A. Bum, which I never found funny, I just don't get it.
I don't know what you're talking about.
And he was a huge success, bringing in other talents that would go on to become big names like Angry Joe, Lindsay Ellis, and okay, Angry Joe and Lindsay Ellis. The website rebranded to Channel Awesome and they were a huge success. Everyone who made videos about movies, video games, music, you name it, we all wanted to be part of this site.
I don't like to brag, but we're pretty successful.
So naturally, they made a movie. To celebrate the 1-year anniversary of their website's launch, they all met up in person to shoot a 20-minute short, and there's not really a whole lot to it. It's goofy and cheesy and has aged like milk, but it was harmless fun at the time. It was the video game reviewers fighting it out with the movie reviewers, with the worst fight choreography and editing you can only expect from the internet during the late 2000s.
Keep it down, I'm trying to be inspirational over here.
Fuck you!
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 But then came the 2-year anniversary, and they decided to put together an actual movie, Kickassia. And I use the term movie very loosely. The film follows the Nostalgia Critic, collecting together all of the reviewers from his website to invade and conquer the very real micronation of Melassia, situated in the Nevada desert.
Why?
What?
Why are we taking over Malaysia? I mean, isn't it barely an acre of land?
Well, maybe we can stop by to give you some acting lessons too.
I declare this sucking.
However, once taking over, it turns out the critic is batshit insane, so it's up to the rest of the gang to take him down and return Malaysia to its rightful owner. Now, it's almost impossible to talk about these movies without discussing the alleged poor experiences that a lot of the producers suffered whilst on set making these films, and although it's more prominent in the sequels, it did happen here, such as, you know, them not receiving water on set. Except for here. And here.
Have you ever felt the motion of water?
And just generally being treated as completely inadequate and not well respected at all.
I mean, not him, you.
Him? What?
Where am I?
They really had a difficult time. None of them enjoyed the production.
Whatever your name is. No! 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 No!
Oh!
Sorry.
Okay, now Justin.
They subjected these poor people to horrible ordeals. Inside an arcade, for example, they covered their breakfast with a buffet. They offered to cover their lunch.
We are covering lunch as well. So,
Probably, I think the only thing they have, I hope you like Quiznos or Taco Bell, because that's all they have.
They paid for their flights, their hotel rooms, but they were also very, very strict when it came to the filming schedule.
Today, after, we're done having this meeting, is going to be just crossovers. Anyone who wants to do a crossover sketch with somebody else, or film something, whatever. That's what today is mostly for. I'm going to be doing storyboards probably for an hour, 2 hours, something like that. But after that, I'll be totally free. So if you need me for any videos, I'll be available.
And don't even get me started on Doug Walker trying to control his actors and destroy all of their characters.
If you have this thought, no, I want to do it this way, my character wouldn't do it this way, I want to do it this other way. Second take. Yeah, that's fine. We'll do a second take, because a lot of times I'm wrong, and you guys can be right, so... And on top of that, I'm also, if anyone has any ideas, I'm very open.
I mean, that explains all of the unnecessary and unfunny cutaways to the producers and their little story arcs. Not to mention how disrespectful Doug was to everyone on set.
Thank you so much, man. Absolutely. I think in, was it May? I think it's going to be. We have it listed on the site. We'll definitely get that. If we make a DVD out of this, we'll send you a DVD and stuff. And so we can't be more thankful, man. We just love this whole thing.
Let us pray for those affected by this horrible deal.
Nah, that's stupid.
Jason Palura, who played Lord Cat, did twist both of his ankles during filming. Brad Jones, who played the cinema snob, accidentally sliced one of his fingers open on the critic's sharp metal hat. And writer and camera operator Rob Walker gashed his knee on a rock during one scene. So I think it's safe to say that we definitely need to cancel this clearly dangerous work environment.
You betcha.
Allegedly, a lot of the continuity errors in the movie were intentional to upset online reviewers who may try to pick it apart. Unlikely story. Although there is an amusing part where Cinema Snob is banished from Malasia and sent away as the critic gives this long speech, but any time we cut back to Brad, he's no further away than he was 20 seconds earlier. Okay, some of it does look deliberate and it does work quite well.
Okay, you have a point.
And Doug Walker did admit that around 20% of the final film was completely improvised. You can tell, especially when he clearly fucked up Phalis' name.
Phallus!
The entire movie was shot over the course of just 4 days. You know what, despite what you think of them, the fact that these guys were able to consistently write, prepare, produce, shoot, edit and release 3 movies back to back every year is incredibly impressive.
We've got over 80 pages in 5 days. We are going to be cruising. If we ever going to hope to get through this, you're going to have to move.
Fargo, who plays Marty, only has a small appearance, but originally he was supposed to be on the team invading Malasia. However, he was the line producer on the film and was far too busy with other duties. So his lines were all delegated to Phalis, who has a running joke of the critic constantly stealing his ideas and claiming them as his own.
That's your answer to everything.
It was originally supposed to be released in just 3 parts online, but it was then split up into a 6-part miniseries, as they felt some of them were far too long. Yeah, far too long. Both Doug and his brother Rob called the film the world's longest movie trailer. They wanted it to be a series of over-the-top and cliche moments that seem epic at the time, but ultimately are completely pointless. And once it came out, they were genuinely surprised when people were actually interested in the plot and disappointed by the poor climax. Yeah, so were we.
Oh, that's hilarious.
However, according to Lord Cat, Patrick Burden, who played Cold Guy, who? I watched the whole film, who? Got into an argument with the Walker brothers as he attempted to give advice on how to produce the film without it looking cheap. And even the Walkers themselves had disagreements over the project. There's a scene where Film Brain, played by Matthew Buck, kidnaps the cinema snob to put him on trial, and Rob felt like the scene needed music, but Doug disagreed. Rob had already asked Buck to make really weird sounds during the scene to add to the music, but Doug felt like the score should only be in Film Brain's head, since his character was a tad off his rocker. This disagreement led to the Walkers not talking to one another for an entire week. And I hate to pick sides, but I do kind of have to agree with Doug here. I mean, the fact that there's no music whatsoever does actually make it funnier and makes Film Brain seem even more insane.
What is that, English?
It would only continue when Doug was credited as sole writer, which Rob took offence to as he helped pen the screenplay, and also shot 75% of the movie, only stopping due to his injury, despite not being credited as director of photography. Despite people's opinions of Channel Awesome now, at the time it was actually well received, and people seem to have an absolute blast seeing all of their favourite reviewers together in one place. And though it was initially only released on October the 17th, 2010 on the Channel Awesome website and later YouTube, it did also also get a subsequent DVD release. However, as time went on and certain controversies arose, people suddenly 180'd and said the film was always shit and they always hated it, despite everyone loving it when it first came out. Yeah, all these people saying, oh no, the reviews were mixed at best. No, we all ate this shit up. I was there, I remember. As for me, it's not very good. I enjoy aspects of it. Yes, the production is arse. It's clearly amateur and they don't even know how to light a scene. It's like they just thought, well, we'll flip a switch and have the light on. That'll do. It just doesn't look very good, especially with the unique camera angles they decided to go with. You have to understand that this was 2010 YouTube, so it was still quite difficult to produce 1080p HD quality videos, and the special effects are obviously going to be shit. It's done on a shoestring budget and you can tell. But bear this in mind. This was done at a time when YouTube wasn't really a career choice like it is now. Some people had made it big, but it wasn't the done thing. It wasn't like today where everyone makes YouTube videos and therefore everyone makes a YouTube movie. I mean, this was even shot before the Fred movie had come out. This was still so new and exciting to see all of these people together from one website all in the same place, and it was such a big deal, even if you hadn't heard of 80% of them. It's clearly a bunch of friends coming together to make a big project and not taking it particularly seriously. Except some accounts that apparently Linkara thought he was going to become Leonardo DiCaprio after this.
Some were very aware of what was going on. I could tell Kevin, Brad, Joe, and the Mickey guy were just there for fun. There were some that were totally delusional. Don't want to harp on this guy, but the movie seemed to be the high point of Linkara's career. Like he felt like he made it, and was a real entertainer or comedian or whatever.
Well, maybe he will be.
Alright, troops, here's how it's gonna work. We're gonna hit him during the day. We're gonna hit him like crap through a goose.
Even the audio is awful. Kaboom! They clearly just went in with pure ignorance, not understanding the full logistics of filmmaking, and just used the lights in the house, the microphone in the camera, and no real prep work was actually done. But actually no, again in the behind the scenes, they have a shotgun mic. What did you do to the audio? Although to be fair, even after this, years later in 2013, Doug's audio was shit.
Thank you, Carl.
Just reduce the background noise, what are you doing? That being said, I can look past the shit production and budget if the passion is there. And I can say that I enjoy the first 20 minutes or so. It's a harmless little story with early 2010s YouTube credits and editing. And the plot is very quick and rapid. It immediately starts with Doug trying to invade. He then rallies up the troops in. I don't care, this sequence is hilarious.
It's time.
Hello?
Yeah, what does it's time mean?
What?
I don't know, you just called me up and said it's time, like I'm supposed to know what that means.
With some really funny moments.
Hello, that chick with the goggles.
Goggles? It's time.
It is?
Yes, we are taking over Molossia.
We're taking over Molossia.
I know, right? So get your stuff together and come down to...
By the way, this has been an answering machine the whole time. Leave your message after the beep.
Until it's dragged out beyond belief and has pointless, unfunny cutaway jokes.
Any chance you have Sean's number?
Your mom has Sean's number.
Shut up.
Believe it or not, Sean isn't at home.
Then everyone meets up. Doug gives an epic speech, which does have some funny lines.
There's another group of people that thought like you, Linkara, and they were called Nazis! They were close-minded, hate-filled people that just want everything their way. Are you a Nazi, Linkara?
No.
Are you a Nazi, Linkara?
No.
Because I don't want any Nazis around here!
No, I'm not a Nazi! I'm not a Nazi!
The leader of Molossia has split personalities, which is mildly funny, but then tried to invade just 15 minutes in, only to immediately fail. All of that is actually pretty good. The movie is like a YouTube time capsule. Not only the production, but flip phones, back when Spoonie actually made content, but the acting is so bad.
Isn't it barely an acre of land?
Snob, what's up?
Hey, I'm just thinking out loud. I'm sure you both know what you're doing.
Who signed for it?
So you're saying you want vengeance for Santa Christ?
Although sometimes the acting is so over the top and cheesy that it actually works with how over the top and cheesy the plot is. It's hit and miss. I mean, at least Doug is trying to save it. Don't get me wrong, there are some really funny moments.
A lot of people said they were crazy. Well, everybody says that we're crazy, so that gives us a better advantage, doesn't it?
Yeah! Just a heads up, guys. Molossia might be under attack in a couple minutes or so.
Do you dare
critic.
It's no use! The bullets are just going through the wall! Molossia has been conquered! A new dawn of government is upon us!
It's just a toy train.
Surrender!
No! Alright, I just thought I'd give it a shot.
Weren't you Dr. Insano?
Yeah, I got better.
Freedom! Wondrous freedom! Shine and bask in the glory of your new world!
But a lot of the time, it's so ridiculously dumb that I hate my brain for finding it funny.
You do realize you're just standing on your tippy toes, don't you?
But for every funny moment, there's a painfully unfunny moment.
It's so great to be back here in this crowded, cramped hotel room again. I wonder if it's still impossible for me to stretch my arms. I can't! Happy birthday to me!
One running joke is Benzai having this stuffed bear who talks, and not once is it funny. But don't worry, they'll keep on trying.
It was an honor to serve you, mon ami. You think you got it, bruv? I've had a time bomb strapped to my body and was blown into 2 separate pieces. Oui, mon ami.
A main problem with the film is that if you're not familiar with the Nostalgia Critic, the website, or the other 2 people you may have heard of, a lot of the jokes are just going to go straight over your head. The humour is very much based on you having seen all of their videos.
How about a legion of spiders?
Long live Kickassia!
Of course! Oh, nothing. Just wanted to make my cameo.
Santa Claus! Santa Claus! We all love
It's cheesy, but it's also clearly self-aware with how dumb it is. And jokes aside, knowing what happened later with Spoonie, it is such a shame as he was such a great talent. But here's the issue. Doug is really trying here.
Give in, Spoonie. Give in for me. And the team. And for me.
Follow him?
But a lot of the time it just seems like he plucked random people off the street. You wouldn't have thought that these other people were actually confident in front of a camera because they almost all seem awkward. Doug does fine, Spoonie is great, Lindsay is alright, Brad is good, Angry Joe is pretty decent, Linkara has his moments, but for the most part, other than not knowing who half the characters are, it just looks like charity work on Doug's part.
And I shall be elevated above you in a rocket chair! A magnificent rocket chair! So I can look down on all of you and see just how equal we all are!
I mean, was he wrong?
The age of Kickassia has come to an end, critic. A new age lies before us.
An age without you.
Well, hardly any of us are successful anymore. This guy I've never heard of. I assume only has a still image in his videos, but then there's all this build up to him becoming 3D. The fight scenes are so bad. Look at this. Jesus Christ. But my god, if you thought some of the Channel Awesome sketches outstay their welcome, buckle up, Buttercup. There's a new sequence where they all get interviewed and it lasts 10 goddamn minutes. That's not an exaggeration. It fully lasts 10 fucking minutes of the runtime. Look, a French guy nobody understands is running immigration.
Tell me, Linkar, what are you going to do to keep this nation safe?
Legalize M&M porn. Lindsay Ellis is really unfunny in this, but to be fair, it's down to the writing and not her. With some really dated dialogue.
But Ma's God is a woman.
Sure she is, and I'm the Tooth Fairy.
That's the issue. Not only did Doug give everyone free rein to adapt their own characters and improvise, but these movies were a great opportunity to show off to an audience that may not know who you are. I didn't know Film Brain before this, but he was so funny that I checked out his content. The same with Angry Joe. The only people I knew going into this were Doug, Brad, and Lindsay. So even if the writing doesn't work, you can still make it your own and make it funny. All these other people have this opportunity to show how funny they can be to broaden their audience, and they're all shit! Although there is a pretty amusing sketch where the nostalgia chick tries to poison the critic, but after this long dragged out gag of her fixing it up just the way he likes so he actually drinks it.
Wait a minute! That's right! I can't stand tea!
Fuck's sake. Then he catches her about to assassinate him and just awkwardly dances away. There's a part where he asks for her help, but she accidentally keeps hitting him instead. But a lot of this film hasn't aged well. Especially regarding Justin Carmichael, who played Juario.
We've discovered that Juario here has a natural talent for camouflage.
Won't somebody think of the children? And another line that hasn't aged well.
Do I have to start paying you so I can cut your wages?
Oh boy. The movie's plot is so weak, but they know it and embrace it. A random receipt for dynamite signed by the critic just somehow lands on Linkara's feet, for fuck's sake.
Is it me or does this tea smell a little, poisony?
They're fully aware that this is dumb and just say, fuck it. And weirdly, they get really political in this.
But that's what I mean. He does nothing. It's like the job of a president is to be removed from reality while everyone else does the work.
There is a really creepy moment as the critic begins to turn psychotic, and I must admit, it is really unnerving. Doug completely nails this. Subsequently, he's given up reviews, but then finds an old restored version of his review room, and it is a really cool moment, though his delivery here is awful.
What happened to my room? Where's my bed? Where are my things?
He gets confronted by Marty, who tries to talk some sense into him, and I will admit, I do kind of like this scene. Before Spoonie turns into Dr. Insano. I mean, I'm pretty sure they're two different people in his channel's universe, but who cares? He's now Dr. Insano. Obviously, they have the fakest, most cartoonishly stupid fight you will ever see, before it apparently becomes a slasher film.
God help you if you don't have chocolate chip!
And then, the critic somehow gets superpowers all of a sudden. The fuck didn't he use that before? Santa Christ shows up, played by Rob Walker, but gets shot and... Okay, again, you'd have to be familiar with the work to find this remotely funny. But it is pretty amusing how everything goes on hold for this one dumb joke as everyone emotionally mourns the death of Santa Christ. They mock the cliche of truly believing so he can be resurrected, only for it to fail.
Nope, that did nothing. Toss him.
That's hilarious, I don't care. We get a montage of cameos. The only one I actually recognise is Mike Jevons, but I'm pretty sure the others are important and successful too. It contributes nothing to the plot, drags on for way too long, and I don't care, it made me laugh.
Damn it! We have to think of something and think of something fast!
We only have 15 minutes of runtime left! They go over their strategy on a board game, but they don't know the rules, so James Rolfe randomly has a cameo as Board James to explain. God, these jokes are all pointless! If this was just plot related, it'd be like 25 minutes long, tops! Well, actually, in a few days, I'm going to be releasing a re-edit of this film, the cinematic Venom cut, and we'll see just how long this movie should have been. Tune in.
We've just decided that Linkaro's gonna plan the attack, and you just missed a humorous cameo from Board James.
Did he? Must have missed that too. And yeah, the ending is really out of nowhere and lazy. Santa Christ resurrects and tells everyone to give Malacia back, and that's it, before explaining their own plot hole.
Wait a minute, why did it take you 3 days to come back? Why couldn't you just do it right away?
Kickassia is a product of its time, let's just say that. If you were a big fan of the website, it was cool to see everyone together, and also seeing all of the references to the various jokes and videos. But outsiders just won't have a clue, and as a film stands, it's god-awful. The production is atrocious, the effects, the acting, the lighting, the editing, but at least they're having fun on a low budget. We've all done it, it's harmless. It has its moments, and at times I can ignore the budget for a cheap laugh or some interesting moments. It's certainly nowhere near as bad as the Fred movies or my own, but it's definitely something the channel probably looks back on and cringes at a lot.